So Monday evening I'm getting last week's vlog processed. And it won't focus. Nope. Anyway. So it's Tuesday morning. I was up at 5 a.m. because my stoma was active. I'm letting the dogs out. I just woke up. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock a.m. I wake up. See, I can't sleep when my stoma's active because I have to babysit it to work properly. It does not simply do its job. It's an ineffective solution to the problem. And if I don't babysit it, it will, how do I put it delicately? I'll wake up with it all over me. There's no point in explaining in details. What it means is that if it's active, I'm not sleeping. And it was pretty active all day yesterday, and it was pretty obvious that it was going to keep me up, so I just got up. And I went to the bathroom and I tried irrigating. And I irrigated successfully, so I managed to get it all emptied out. And an hour and a half later, I went back to bed. So I slept in about an hour. But given the weather out here, who can blame me? I mean, ugh. But now you see, the beasties, the beasties need to get fed. Yes, we need breakfast. You need your breakfast? Oh, big one. You like that snow, Piper? Snow, snow. Run, Piper, run. Where'd she go? Whoa, here she comes. Ew. All right, let's go inside, guys. Timmy's in his little snowsuit. That's so much cute. So Timmy's naked. Haven't had time to dress him. Sam's up, waiting for breakfast. Piper's restlessly and anxiously waiting for breakfast. Breakfast is... Piper gets frozen herring. Timmy will get some too. And today, my work, I gotta take care of this soup. The broth is cooked enough. The house has been humid enough. It's time to boil it down, package off the bones as dog food, and package off the broth. I think I'll can it. Should I? I should. Anyway, it's time to get to work. I can't have breakfast till the dogs are fed. Fish heads, roly-poly fish heads, fish heads, eat them up, yum. I think he likes his pickled herring, his frozen herring. Okay. Taking all the meat and bones out, and now I'm going to boil it down. I'm going to boil it down to half. I'm just going to boil it down to half, and then I'm going to jar it up. There's the meat and bones that I'm going to put in canning jars, and I'm going to can them. There's the canning jars ready to receive the stock and the meat and bones. And there's one jar of meat and bones that I'm going to use up this week. This is one of the things I feed my dogs. I know it's cooked bones, but what you don't understand is that when they've been through 5 days of boiling, they are like powder. They just powder. So it's okay to feed them to your dog. So I'm going to make up 2 of these and can them along with all the stock after it's boiled. But I can't put them in, I can't put the stuff in. This I have to put in water to here and boil it under pressure for 10 minutes to sterilize all of this and to soften the rubber on the lids and all that. And then I can take it out, I can use my canning funnel to fill the jars, put the lids on, put them back in the canner, and process them. So that's what I'm doing with my... I'm making fridge pickles. I love pickled eggs, but I don't love peeling them. I can peel 1 jar's worth, but when I have to make 3 or 4 jars worth, I don't like it. So instead of making a big batch of pickles with the canning jar that can sit on the shelf, I'm just making one jar at a time. In this case, I've got vinegar, cayenne, salt, dill, onions. There's going to be garlic and some red food coloring because I'm suspecting that these ones sat on the stove long enough to get green yolks. And then when you've got red food coloring bleeding in, and then you've got white, and then you've got green, and then you've got yellow, you actually get a really cool looking egg versus that kind of sickly look that it has when you just have green yolks. So garlic is going in there, and then I'll peel the eggs, dump them in, and top up the vinegar. So I gave Tiny Tim's clothes a wash, and then I stretched them over canisters big enough to simulate his girth of his rib cage. I had to wash them because the person who made them lives with a smoker, and the smell she threw it in the wash, and you could tell it wasn't as strong, but it was still too strong for me. Doesn't that one look cute? Almost like the dog is in it. That one's just being set to dry flat. If you just hang woolens, they may stretch. The gloves aren't going to stretch. The neck tubes aren't going to stretch. But like if you pinned a sweater at the shoulders, you'd have permanent shoulder dimples. It would look awful. So, yeah, and they stretch better when they're wet. And I love that my washing machine can do that without damaging my woolens. It's got a knit cycle that works really well. That's because it tumbles instead of agitating. High efficiency washers, they often call them.
Tiny Tim's all dressed up in his new alpaca knitted suit. It's so soft and fuzzy and warm, as well as being very festive.
I can record you in the camera, watching Einstein on the TV. See, you can see Einstein on the TV. See? So that you can watch him without him being here. He's not in your house, but you get to watch him. How do you like that? Well, I was copying the files over from the card to the hard drive. And I wanted to just move them, but I forgot to select move. And so I'm like, okay, well, when the copy dialog box vanishes, I'll delete them. And I look over at the screen, and the copy dialog box is not visible. It had moved behind one of the other windows, but I thought it was gone. So I popped in there, I hit the delete, and the dialog box popped back up showing the copy part still going. So as quick as I could, I hit the pause. But I hit the pause on the copy first, not the delete. So the delete suddenly sped up because it was stalled at the point that it was trying to delete what the copy command was still chewing on. And suddenly it got to jump past that. So then I hit the pause on that and the cancel. And because it was coming from an SD card, I couldn't use a recycle bin feature with it. It was gone. And I completed the copy command with what files did not get deleted. Some files had already been copied, but I won't know until I go to editing just which files got lost. That's really too bad. So, sorry. February has begun. It's Thursday morning, I believe. February the 1st. I have no idea what I have to do today. Well, I got some chores lined up, and I don't think I have any appointments or have to leave the house, which is good because it's 30 below out there, and you know how I like cold. I just learned the other day that those big cacti with the arms, the iconic cowboy cactus, spelled like saguaro, but it's actually saguaro. For one arm to even sprout, let alone grow, takes 80 years. Wow. Each arm can be counted as 80 years, as well, of course, the barrel. So if it's got 2 arms, that means it's already lived 240 years. I didn't know cacti could live that long. They're really more like trees than cacti. And in fact, if you kill them, there's a woody central trunk
that continues to sit there and like wood, you know, like dead trees. So they're trees. Ow. Blew my mind. I hope someday I get to see one. Even if this bus thing gets off the ground, it's still hard to say if I'll get across the border. Mr. Feathers over there, the peanut gallery, requires special paperwork that I have yet to figure out. I keep telling myself I've got to go up to the north end of town and stop in at the Canadian Border Services Agency and ask them about it, because that's probably the most productive solution. But I keep not doing it because the times when it would be ideal to do, it doesn't occur to me. The times it occurs to me is not the time I can do it. Like right now, I'm having breakfast. I'm not going to suddenly jump in my car and drive up and see the CBSA. I've got all other things planned. By the time I could have time, I forget. And so eventually, I'm going to have to remember. I'm getting much better understanding of how the electrical system in my bus has to be set up. It's via people on Facebook, thankfully. I'm so thankful that they're there. But I still won't be working on it until the weather warms up. I'm not going to try and keep that bus warm enough to work on at 30 below. I'm just not going to try. And if I find myself living at 30 below in the bus, I'm going to do something like rent an apartment or a hotel room, or I have no idea what, because with all my pets, it's not as simple as just go rent something. But, you know, drive back across the border until the weather warms up, plan my life around that. It's kind of what I'm trying to achieve. Okay. Friday, Groundhog Day. The sky is gray, I think. It's hard to tell before sunrise whether it's gray or why it's gray, whether it's gray from clouds or because the sun hasn't made it blue yet. Yeah, so it's Groundhog Day. If it's sunny, long winter. If it's shady, short winter. And I found that actually correlates, that if the weather is pleasant on Groundhog Day, the winter will last longer. But if the weather is agitated, disturbed, active, then the spring's coming sooner. I stepped on the scale last night. I don't do that very often. It's depressing and doesn't particularly help with fitness, really. But I'm cutting back on my food. I am as heavy as I've been in ages. I don't want to talk in front of Mister. He's coming back in the house. Okay, he's gone to shave. I was talking about being overweight. Yeah, I stepped on the scale and the numbers alarmed me, so I'm having less to eat, and I'm going to try to get myself up on the treadmill. Because it's still too cold to go outside and do anything active. And I've got some gym tickets, but then I'd have to go outside to get to the gym. So I'll just try to start using the treadmill, try to fit it into my day. Because I'm way too heavy for my own. I can't accept how heavy I've gotten. I'm going to do kombucha today. And I think that's the only thing on my agenda today, actually. Nice if true. Kombucha, treadmill. Could probably do a little housekeeping. Yeah, February 2nd, the way it works in my thoughts is the jet stream. The jet stream is the dividing line between hot and cold, and it wibbles and wobbles back and forth across the globe. This year it's mostly been up on the Russian side and down on the Canadian side, so we've had the cold winter, they've had a mild one. And as the globe, as things warm up, the jet stream moves upward. And if the jet stream is wibbly wobbling higher up, because along the jet stream you get disturbed weather. All along where the jet stream is, that's where most of the storms are. And so if it's wibbly wobbling further up, then you'll see more bad weather Whereas if it's wibbly wobbling further down, you'll see a lot more clear weather in Canada. So that's what the whole groundhog sees as shadow thing is. If the first week of February is bad weather, that means the jet stream has begun to crawl northward. If it's good weather, that means the jet stream has not begun to crawl northward. Now, given that Russia had a mild winter and we had a rough winter, I'm willing to bet it's going to be a long winter as well. And, well, I think the sky's gray, so I think it's cloudy out there, so I don't know, I could look online. I think it's cloudy out there, which would mean that we're going to have a shorter spring, which is good. I've started figuring out the electricals on this bus, and I'm raring to put them in. But not at 30 below. And it is. It's still bitter cold out there. I hate winter.
I was serious about using the treadmill today. Really, I was. I'll walk on it for an hour minimum. Minimum. But while I work on it, I'm going to try to play Minecraft. Of course, it can get a little bit disorienting when you move forward in Minecraft and you're walking, because you start thinking that your footsteps in your feet ought to match the ones in your game. And then your brain can trip, which means your body will trip. So that could be amusing. Anyway, I was serious. I'm walking on the treadmill. I have used this thing, and I'm using it now. I don't just hang stuff on it. I'm going to use it regularly now until I can go outside. 54 minutes. I got 6 minutes left to go, and I'm so fat my thighs are chafing and they're starting to hurt after an hour. And of course I got warm enough that I'm damp all over, which is making the chafing worse. Must find an answer to that. Must be why people wear long shorts. I just don't want to go clothing shopping though. Anyway, Minecraft, as I anticipated as being a challenge, is harder to move both in Minecraft and on the treadmill, but I'm pulling it off. So, 208 calories, 61 minutes, and I'm not done in Minecraft. But my thighs and my feet and my muscles can't take any more of the time. The treadmill. I'm so tired I'm stuttering. Whew. So, there's a juicer in here. It runs on this thing. I juiced up carrots and apples. I brought it to about here. Then I added some apple juice. Then I added some cane sugar and water so that I could get half as much of the juice as there is of the kombucha. So then I'm going to put these half and half into the bottles. Not sure how exactly. Probably fill a large container half and half with each, and then into the bottles by funnel. So there's the containers with the juice half and half, and there's the bottles into which I'll pour it, but I'm not going to do it with one hand on the camera. One hand on the funnel and one hand on the jug. No hands on the camera, you don't get to watch. And there you go. 7 bottles. Yes, 7. 3 and 1. 7 bottles. Carrot apple kombucha. That there is apple only because I wasn't in the mood to juice, so I just grabbed a couple of liter containers of apple juice, which is an easy way to do it and cheap. But this is better and cheaper.
I'm melting, melting. Oh, I'm becoming puddled water. No, help me, I'm melting.
So, I got sick and tired of not being able to recognize my island from behind, and I did some distinctive things. There's, see in the distance, there's that toadstool. Could probably stand to be lit up a little more. And the home, now that's bright. That's birch and oak. And I planted some of these giant mushrooms, and I'm all out of coal, or I'd make some more torches and light it up. A lot more torching. Friday night I didn't get nearly enough good footage today, but Anyways, it's snowing out there. And I thought about taking you out there to see it, but it's nighttime and this camera doesn't shoot well in the dark, so that was all the excuse I needed. I'm just brushing my teeth and getting ready for bed, and I discovered a $100 hurdy-gurdy. It's made out of laser-cut plywood that you assemble yourself, and it looks like it's more decorative than functional, but they say it plays music, so that's curious. I'm gonna read a little deeper. I added to my Amazon wish list though. Come Saturday morning, I'm not going anywhere in this weather. It's blowing, it's snowing, it's 20 below. I haven't checked to see if Tom's coming by. He's an intrepid fella to be able to, okay, he's getting on the bus. That helps. He's not, like, riding his bike here. But we'll have to wait and see until after I contact him if he's coming by today. I think today's a kitchen chat day, in fact. Wouldn't that be fun? I'll have to check with him. I got my breakfast. 2 poached eggs, an orange, kombucha mixed with coconut water, and some water. Told you I'm cutting back. Yeah, I don't know if it'll work. I mean, I've been leaning a little too heavily on those chocolates I made. 'Cause, you know, the body's got a loud voice. And the body wants to be fat. Because the body believes that famine is possible. It doesn't understand the modern world when famine has been eliminated. Today is February the 3rd. Tomorrow I go pick up Wandering Market. Yay, tasty new food. I am walking the treadmill again. I can't do a whole hour today because I've got to be ready when Tom gets here and I'm having a bath. And it's currently 11:30, so around 12:30 or so I'll hit the bathtub, probably take lunch in there with me, and then by the time I'm done my bath, Tom's due over. So yeah, I'll just walk while the water fills up, and I'll have done some time on the treadmill because if I do no time on the treadmill, it's just too easy to break and stop doing it. You know, once a week isn't going to cut it. It needs to be an hour or more a day, really. So I haven't got around to my Facebook yet. So what I'm going to do is hit the Facebook, try to get caught up on all my notifications while I walk on the treadmill. See? Okay, Facebook, it's YouTube up right now, but I've got this desk thing that uses, it sits on the arms. It allows me to mess with my computer, and then I can run YouTube from the phone and send it to the Chromecast on the TV, which now turns on to begin broadcasting whatever I select. Pretty cool, huh? So I got in 35 minutes on the treadmill with 34 and a half. And the tub's ready and full, so I'm gonna turn all this off and put it away and go have a bath. I'm tired anyway. I'm tired, I'm hot, I'm sweaty, and I put some time in. That's what matters. It's not as important how much time, but that I made it part of my day's routine. Because I need exercise. What a fine luxury. There's just no bubble bath better than Lush. What a treat. It's been since November that I went to Lush, and I ran out before Christmas. So I've been using cheap bubble bath, and I'm so glad I have Lush again.
I haven't heard any of their songs in like a million years, so I can't even cough up a title. But I do remember enjoying their music.
I can so totally cough up a title. And now that I'm not monetizing my videos, I don't even give a damn if I get some copyrighted music in it. It's called the Merry Mansion Quadrology. having popcorn with brewer's yeast, garlic, thyme, and butter. Yeah. Spices, butter, popcorn. Time to put them together.
Sunday, I'd like to try and find some time to put some video editing together, and Dan's home for the day, and I gotta pick up Wandering Market, and I don't want to talk to the camera at all. Look at this. He's doing that, as usual. He tells me he doesn't watch mainstream news. Every time I look over there, sure looks like he's watching mainstream news. Yeah. And the things that he's learning to say are supportive of the oil industry and big business. I'm reading some history, and I came across a thing about a fellow who had his day job was graphic designer for the Sears company, and I realized how many professions there are that, okay, if you have Eaton's, Zeller's, Sears, the Bay, Army and Navy stores, I'm having a hard time remembering all the chain stores that Canada used to have. You could go to any mall or downtown, and you could shop at one of like a half a dozen different department stores, all with a different focus. Some on bargain, and some on fashion, and some on just plain middle class goods, and some on dry. You could move around, and they all had a smattering of everything, but all within their own special flair. And now, I want to buy sheets. I can choose from one of 3 chain stores. So, and those 3 were around then too. So, from a dozen down to 3. Used to be, a national chain store maybe requires, 2 graphics designers for their advertising? So there would have been jobs for 2 dozen artists, plus possibly local hires as well for the local advertising. And we still have a local newspaper, but once the seniors get old and die, there will be no customers left, I think. I don't think it's a very popular thing to get a newspaper anymore. So all these graphics designers, all these graphic artists, all these artists who really are probably not good for a whole lot of, what are we all supposed to do for jobs out here? We have to have a universal basic income, because it's getting to the point where only skilled trades like my husband or service industry professionals like nurses and waitresses, people who provide a service. Because your store clerk, the whole retail store thing is dying. It's going to be Amazon. We all know how they treat their employees. And certainly one Amazon depot uses maybe 3 stores worth of employees to do the entire freaking world. There's really not going to be much work left. And, with autonomous cars and drone delivery and those little pizza robots, there's not going to be delivery jobs. There's not going to be store clerk jobs. There's not going to be much for graphic design. There's just so many, and janitors. All the janitors are out of work. There's going to be all these empty buildings. There's going to be all these landlords that have no money. Yeah, I hear you. Where does the money for the universal basic income come from? Frankly, I think we need to get our government on board and bring these mega corporations to heel. They are making enough money by owning the entire industry to continue to pay out the cost of living for all the people they no longer hire. That's socialism. I mean, really, why should Sam Wall and his family be living so high off the hog while so many people have been thrown out of work by his predatory business practices?